The ACC has a 15th team. Welcome everyone to Four Downs, as usual. Chris Cusack, Andrew Beaton, Danny Nolan here to give you the latest on Duke football. That 15th team will be Notre Dame. That's right, the Fighting Irish are now a member of the ACC in everything except for football. And yes, that does mean that they will play basketball games in Cameron Indoor against us during conference play. So for more information on what exactly happened today, we go to ACC Commissioner John Swofford.
Well, this is a historic day for the Atlantic Coast Conference. I think we've arrived at a point in terms of accepting the University of Notre Dame as a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference. And I think that's a real win-win both for the ACC and for the University of Notre Dame.
So there you have it from Commissioner Swofford. You can check out our full coverage of Notre Dame joining the ACC on DukeStudentBroadcasting.com, as well as the Duke Chronicle sports blog. But let's talk less about Notre Dame, more about Duke football. And Chris, this game against Stanford last weekend, not good.
No, it was about as bad as Duke has played under Coach Cutcliffe. In fact, he said it was the worst game they've played, blocking and tackling at least, in the 5 years he's coached them. 50-13 loss. Duke couldn't really do anything except for stop the run, but they had to commit too many players up front to stop that run, so all of a sudden the entire secondary was wide open. And you had Levine Toilolo and Zach Ertz, the two big Stanford tight ends, just go wild. 5 catches for about 120 yards. Duke really couldn't do anything to stop those guys. But it's important to note that last year Duke lost to Stanford by 30 points and then went on to win their next 3 games. So there's still reason for hope. And I think you see that there is a good chance for that against NC Central this weekend.
And for a team that needs to rebound against such a devastating loss, there's no team on the Duke schedule that they could really look forward to playing more than an FCS team in NC Central. But as we've seen over the past few years, Duke has this history of potentially overlooking FCS opponents. Duke fans have seen a couple crushing losses to Richmond over the past couple years. And as you mentioned, Chris, Duke has improved incredibly in some areas this year, specifically on run defense. 3.6 yards per carry against this year compared to 4.9 last year. That's a huge difference, but defensively, they've still shown the potential to give up some huge plays. And that's something they really can't do, regardless of whether it's an FBS or FCS team.
Yeah, well, having said all that, we have to do predictions for the game anyway this weekend. Chris, what do you think is going to happen against NC Central?
Look, I think NC Central is on the right track. I think they will get better, and they are getting better under their second-year head coach. But I think the talent disparity is too big right now. I see Duke winning 42-14.
I think Duke needs a little more time to work out their defensive kinks. They're going to give up some points, but I think their offense is too good to lose this game. I see them taking it 38-31.
38-31, that's a lot closer than Chris and I think. I think it's also going to be a blowout. I see this game ending 38-17. I think the defense isn't quite there, but I think they're going to be good enough to defeat an NC Central team that's just not there right now. So that'll do it for Four Downs once again. Chris Cusack, Andrew Beaton, Danny Nolan. We hope to see you all next week.